Peace and blessings, everyone. It is the incomparable Red Fidel with another hour of Do the Knowledge Radio with the Now Abba Dream Team. I am the National Chief Strategist of New Order National Human Rights Organization under the awesome leadership of Gerald Emerson Rose. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners, we have a special guest with us. We have none other than Washington Muhammad. Peace be unto the brother. Definitely is going to be some great conversation, some great dialogue, but mainly a great exchange of positive energy with great minds and also great learning. The brother is here to definitely drop some jewels on us, as well as receive some jewels from
Yes,
those
sir.
that may want to call in and that may want to just send some through let's just say through the etheric realm. So without further ado, I would definitely want to let the brother introduce himself and just let our viewers know who you are, man, and let's get it cracking lacking.
Well, let's do it. First, I want to thank Brother Gerald for, man, having a vision of taking social justice different places. Most of us, when we look at social justice, we look at it in the confines of um, protesting, holding up signs, and yelling on a street corner. Well, that could be a part of it, but it's so much more. And I've never seen anybody do it like Gerald. So big ups to Gerald. He come from good stock, and I couldn't mention Gerald without uh, talking about his father, the my dad. Reverend Floyd Rose, and what he means to me, what he means for the culture. And there's so many giants that we stand on the shoulders of today that made it possible for myself, Brother Washington Muhammad, Red Fidel, to be here. So
Thank you.
yeah, and I started off in this quest maybe in the late '80s. Maybe 1989 was the first time I met a Muslim brother, and I didn't want to hear anything he had to say. You know, I was satisfied with the way that I was thinking. I was satisfied with the way that I was living. I felt that I knew everything that I needed to know. And I had to be maybe 24, 23, 24 years old. And
Right.
and the brother didn't give up on me. He didn't. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And we were talking about the lion's grip or the lion's paw, that person that can reach down in the grave and connect with our people. And that's where our people are, in the grave of ignorance, fear, doubt, anxiety, guilt, sadness, shame. And you can't, it's hard coming at our people looking down at them as if I never fell from being civilized, as if I've never done this or done that. So I'm thankful to this, to the brother that took time, to talk to me. I joined the Nation of Islam officially in 1991, so I'll go way, way, way back. Also, I met my wife in the mosque, and we'll be celebrating 30 years of marriage. Got
Awesome.
two sons that are in the Nation of Islam,
Mm.
and man, and I've had wonderful teachers that I've sat at the foot to listen and take in. And some of the lessons that I've learned from some of my mentors and teachers from the early 90s I'm just getting them today. So, some of the things that we're taught, it's going to take some time for a person to realize what a gem or what a jewel that was. So, and since then, the Nation of Islam has always been universal in this application of being involved in the community. And I took advantage of that to be involved politically, to be involved in some of the social justice movements, if it's economic justice or police reform or the prison industrial complex, wherever social justice leads us, if it's community gardens, I try to find my space, so that it's not just a religious thing that we come to the mosque and we sit down and hear a message and judge everybody outside of the mosque as if we're perfect. No,
Right. Exactly.
we're to take these. If you learning anything in your FOI class, if you're not using it out in the community, what are you doing? You know, we can't just be styling and profiling, in suits and bow ties, looking like the Essence, fashion fair,
Right.
and not putting the work in. So
I
I've
agree.
been, yeah, so I've been blessed here in Toledo, Ohio, with a minister that was about that work. And sometimes that work may be with people that don't believe like you, with people that may not look like you, that may not love like you, but there's a higher principle that we're trying to achieve together. So if we can put our labels to the side and think about that primary objective that we're headed toward, man, we get a lot of work done. So hey, that's my that's my opening right there. That's my opening right there, and I always want people to know that. Yep, you see Muhammad as my last name, and yep, that does come with a lot of preconceived ideas of who I am, what I love, and you know, and if you want to ask me, So, but that's my that's my opening. And where do we take it from here, Red?
Well, I'm just gonna bounce off you a little bit, and thank you for that preamble. That was a great opening, and I think that it kind of it not only kind of, but it definitely gives our viewers and listeners a good, I say a good view or a good briefing on your background and where you come from and your beginnings up to now. And let me ask you this: prior to you becoming a member of the Nation of Islam in 1991, what was your religious practice?
My religious practice was apostolic holiness,
Mm.
and that was the religion of my mother. That's what she practiced, and I don't know if there's anyone that practiced Christianity better than her. She's still living, very faithful, very well studied, and if I had listened to her, I would have learned all of the lessons at an early age than having to learn them in my late 20s and early 30s. But yeah, I was practicing Christianity at that time.
Got you. Got you. Interesting enough that you say you joined in 91 because that's around the time when I became a member of the Nation of Islam as well.
Mhm.
And I graduated high school in 1990. And in 91, around 91, 92, I started becoming, really, really entrenched in the doctrine. A lot of the brothers were starting to migrate. I'm from Miami, so a lot of them were starting to
Mhm.
migrate down there. I would see them, out there selling papers or, whatever, bean pies and things of that nature. And then, another thing would help me out was rap music, because at that time hip hop
Yes,
had,
sir.
it was very positive. It was cool at that time to wear black medallions and African
Hmm.
pieces. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Yeah.
hip hop represented. It was like a music of change. It was a music of protest. So that attracted me, especially being from the South, to, I would say, philosophies of thought and ideologies that we didn't really get down there, because
Yeah.
I grew up too Christian, and my parents Islanders, so they was under the guise of Catholicism. You know what I'm saying? So under that, so basically, I grew up interesting because I grew up what they call it, Episcopalian as well as like Baptist. So my grandparents were Episcopalian, so I would get that type of thing whenever I go
Hmm.
spend time with them on the island. Then when I come back home to Miami, I was in the Baptist church where they hooping and hollering, and they getting down to the nitty gritty. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm like,
so,
okay.
so
All right. He said it. All
you know
right.
what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so it was quite interesting, and it was really the setup for me to. It was really the setup for my next journey. It was the setup for my awakening. Likewise with you, I think our
Mhm.
beginnings was really our setup for our awakening. Because as you said something interesting. You said if you only would have listened to your mother back then, so many jewels you probably would have learned then.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I also believe that saying that says when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. And at that time, you wasn't ready. And it's like you couldn't be given those jewels. Those jewels were given into you at the right time, at the right moment, in the right place for you to adhere to. Because what if you would have listened to your mom? You probably wouldn't even walk that walk of the NOI. You probably would have been, under the Gnostic influence that you were under. Not saying that's
Mm-hmm.
bad, but you wouldn't have gained this
Mm-hmm.
walk you have now, this experience
Right.
that you have. You're able to talk about, and that's beautiful, and there's no knock on anyone in their choice and their opinion. Because I tell people all the time, my family's still Christian. I'm the only one that actually took another route in my life. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely know kind of I can appeal to where you at, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel you coming from. And and at that time in 1991, it really was a courageous move for us to try to do something like that because the Nation of Islam wasn't as big as it was in the 60s. So it was like that was a daring move to say, you know what, I want to go ahead and go this route. I want to go to the mosque. Me first time going in the mosque and seeing how they separate genders. I was like, what's this? I'm used to going to church and I could still rub on
Hey,
hey,
yes,
I could rub on
sir.
sister. I could rub on Sister Clara legs still in the pew.
All
You
right.
know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Right.
Hey, I got to go in here and they sitting over there. I'm over here. I'm like, what's going? I don't like this.
Well, yeah.
So already, as soon as you walk through the door, discipline is instilled. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So the discipline, honestly, the discipline caught my attention. I was like, wow, this is different. And then for me, it just became a situation where it was love at first sight. I became very inebriated in the word of just it was just something that I had never heard before. And then really, what I realized it was nothing that these ears have heard before, but my spirit knew it very well. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? These ears didn't know what I was hearing, but it resonated with my spirit because my spirit overstood and understood also what was being said to me, and it was actually awakening up it was awakening up my Osiris. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
Right.
oh, okay, okay. This is who I am. This is why I always thought contrary. This is why I always had opposing thoughts. This is why I always say, what about this? What maybe this? Because now the proper water is being placed on the seed. So it's an interesting thing, man. And that's what it's good talking to you because we kind of can delve off into that because
Mm-hmm.
I think in that aspect we may have actually engaged in the same situation at that time because at 91 you and I kind of it's an age difference look like between us but we was at the same place seemed
Right.
like at 91. I was around 91. I was 19 all going on 20, so I was at that place. You're on fire, ready to go. You're ready to pick up arms and let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a different situation. So I definitely get it, man. I definitely get it. Let me ask you this: when you decided to join the nation back then, how was it received by your family?
Well, I initially joined um, in federal prison.
Oh, this
Um,
this even better.
I initially joined in federal prison, and anybody that knows me, hey, you already know if you're viewing this, and if you didn't know, now you know. And many brothers find religion, in prison. And where I was, there was brothers of all faiths. There was our brothers that practiced the more traditional expression of Islam. There was our brothers that practiced the Nation of Islam, the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as it was taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. There was also brothers from the 5% Nation of Islam. I saw Brother Knowledge Born Allah, and that was some common names that I've never heard. I never heard a brother named Allah. I never heard a brother named Justice. I never heard a brother named, Freedom. And just being in that environment um, gave me the opportunity to see what the brothers were talking about. And when I talked earlier about a brother that was inviting me to the meetings, and um, I didn't want to go. All I wanted to do was walk in the yard, lift weights, and rap. All right, because I was a rapper. All right,
Mhm.
I was maybe one of the only rappers from Ohio where I was, so they used to always try to joke me out
Right,
because where I was on the East Coast, and a lot of the brothers thought, if you live in Ohio, all you got to rap about is corn and cows and farmland.
right.
But A brother asked me to come to one of their meetings, and I told him, "Listen, brother, if I go to your meeting after this, leave me alone. I'm serious. I don't want to hear about none of that black stuff. I don't want to hear. I just don't want to hear." And I went to the meeting. And also at where I was incarcerated, the Moore Science Temple of America was strong. And shout out to the Moors, because our Moore family, they get it in. They get it in. All right, they get it in. So I had really had a great opportunity to be a part of so many expressions of Islam. But and I went to one meeting, and something connected to me. And to make the long story short, was the principle of cause and effect. Um, we say Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. It's not spooky that 2 plus 2 is 4 equals 4. It's not a magic trick. And living your life right is not a magic trick. What you get out, you put in. What you put in, you get out. And initially, my family had some second thoughts on where was my soul gonna go. Why am I changing? That I was gonna be Washington X, and having an X is as if I'm throwing the family name away. My slave name was McGee, so at one point I would be Washington McGee. Upon joining the Nation of Islam, I was Washington X McGee, and then I was just called Washington X. But initially, my family had some second thoughts, but I continued. I continued my study. I continued the discipline of the nation, and now they respect my decision. They love my family and what I stand for, and everything that I stand for. My mother stood for. She was about prayer. She was about charity. She was about fasting. She was about belief. She was about making that journey through life. We may call it Hajj, where we go to one particular place, but in reality, that journey is me going to the liquor store and giving a brother a good word on the way. You
That's right.
know, so
Right.
as I said before about my mother, she really laid out the foundation of the things that I needed in life. And the Nation of Islam gave me a practical application of how to actually walk in that life. And, and myself, my family do just fine. So
That's
that's
right.
I took you on the scenic route, but
No, it's cool. It's cool.
yeah, I took
I'm
you on the
enjoying
scenic route for that. But yeah, that's initially that's they may have some second guess, thoughts, because Islam in the traditional black family is something that's foreign.
it.
So sometimes I realize that their concerns wasn't because they hated Islam; they just didn't know.
Yeah.
Is
People fear the unknown.
Yeah, and there should be some healthy caution for some things, but ultimately it's my decision. And when they see that I'm progressing, if I'm not drinking anymore, if I'm not smoking, I'm not abusing women or men, I'm not she's not getting a call from the county jail every other week. Um, I'm saving my money. Um, no strange people coming to the house looking for me. You know, I put her at peace. Islam not only gave me peace, but it also gave my mother peace too. If she gave her peace too. So yeah, people just don't know, and I don't look at it as a form of disrespect, because they doubt. You should doubt. You shouldn't just join something just because it looked good.
That's
You
right.
know, and I don't advocate for anybody to just join because you saw Minister Farrakhan give a speech, and now you want to put on a suit. you have no idea, bro, all right,
Right.
what you getting into. If you
Right.
just want to join stuff because it look good or it's trendy,
Right.
there's a lot more to it than
Then that.
just
Right.
yeah, just putting on a suit
I
and
agree.
selling newspapers. It's
Agree.
much more to that.
I agree. I totally agree. And it's interesting enough because people used to rag me when I started. Like they always say, "Man, you selling them papers?" They used to want to know like how much you make off the papers. Back
Newspaper.
then, you pay
Yeah,
the paper was $1, you get a quarter off the dollar. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah.
like, "Oh, Farrakhan pimping you, man. He getting 75 cents, you getting a quarter, boom, boom." And I was like, "Nah, that's not the issue at all." I say basically, the, it's the principle that's being taught, the principle of entrepreneurship, the principle of kuchachakalia, meaning do for self, the principle of self-determination. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, of course, you want the money to go back to the foundation and to the building of the nation, but you still make it sound off. It's no better than you working at a job. Okay, say if you get a job, you get your little check. Let's say you get $800-900 every 2 weeks. Well, that company probably got 10 bands or 20 grand every 2 weeks off of your labor, and you only get $800-900. Who's the real pimp? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's all on perception and how you see it. If you got a myopic point of view and seeing things, then you definitely can't see far into the future and nothing. So I definitely feel you on that, man. And those is one of the things I heard a lot when I was out there, especially when you be out there and you in the sun and you with your suit on. People like, oh man, you out there in the sun with that suit on.
Oh, yes,
I was like,
sir.
man, y'all just can't get
Oh,
enough. Hey, our people could be brutal, man. Our people could
oh,
be brutal, man. They
look.
something else, man. The man the Look, man, there's an African proverb that says the lack of wisdom is, I mean, the lack of knowledge is darker than night. And boy, our people exist in midnight sometimes, man. It's like, cause they just don't be see. They can't see if it's not able to be seen with these eyes, they cannot see it with any other eye. Especially that one that's in between these two eyes. They cannot see it with that third eye. No type of intuitiveness. But luckily for us, I think the youth are now waking up. There's a different vibration taking place on the planet,
Hmm.
especially with the influx of this information age. There's so many people got access to information that you and I had to get on VHS tapes, or we had to get them
That's
on
right.
cassettes. You know what I'm saying? Or we had to get them like you and I both, kind of confess. We got it through music. We both rapped. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like, rap was really the vehicle, and that was the message springboard that spread the message, and that's why the powers that be actually had to get control of that, and they had to actually snub out conscious rap to some degree. You don't really hear about no conscious rap.
No.
Back then it was a mainstay. It was like you had like a buffet of different styles you wanted to mess with. You want to mess with this vibe, you mess with that vibe. It was a healthy sense of rap. We always had rap that's considered gangster rap, but you always had something else to actually counter that. You had the native tongue, you had this rap, you had different kind of rappers that actually created a balance, and that's all life is about, just a balance of it all. So I definitely feel you in that regard, man. But it was something that was interesting. I would like to actually say, you mentioned like Orthodox Islam and then traditional Islam to because I noticed that when I got into Islam back in the day, preferably the nation, because that's by way in which I came.
Hmm.
I started getting introduced to the other sects and the other different
Hmm.
secular divisions of Islam versus
Hmm.
Orthodox, be it Sunni, be it
Hmm.
Shiite, and all those other ones. And it was interesting to me because a lot of them, I ain't gonna say a lot of them, like, I don't even want to put it out there, but I've had my pushbacks from let's just say
Hmm.
followers and those against like
Hmm.
the Nation of Islam, because they would say that the Nation of Islam is not really
Hmm.
Islam or traditional Islam, or
Hmm.
they always talk against it. And I
Hmm.
found at that time I would find it offensive because I was really into it. It
Hmm.
took me a while to grow into the more of a common understanding and more of a honest a debate and dialogue
Hmm.
about it. But I assume or want to make assumption that still takes place on some levels. And do you feel? I guess what I'm really trying to ask is, what
I
is
got
your
you.
mindset about that? Like, how
I
do you?
got you.
What's your mindset about
I
that?
got you. If that conversation takes place, then it's got to take place during recess, during kindergarten. All right. And a lot of us at an immature place in our faith thought that we needed to debate. And we see now that that was a foolish thing to do. It was foolish for someone to gas me up to talk about our brothers that were Sunni. it was a foolish thing for people to gas me up and talk about our people who may be Christian or black nationalists. You see, our enemy had our number back then, and they could whisper something in my ear and have me say something disrespectful because a brother got on the kufi, or
Right.
brother has a beard, or brother that may not want to wear a bow tie or whatever. You know what, man? That was the most childish expression
Right.
of faith, and I didn't know any better. So if you wanted it, hey, come on,
You
you
got
know,
it.
you got it, you got it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to your mosque. You're not coming to Muhammad's mosque. But we've just sat here and disrespected each other in front of everybody. And we say Islam is a religion of
A
peace,
piece.
but people just saw me and Brother Jabril call each other MF, B's, how I'm a whoop yo this, and how you ain't a real Muslim, but you you calling me everything except the child of God. And people saw our hypocrisy.
Right.
They saw it on full display. And our common enemy was pleased that we were debating on religion, you know. And I realized after the Million Man March, really, that that type of stuff has no place in our elevation.
Mm.
That,
Mm.
the Million Man March taught me that, even further taught me that, everybody don't have to look the same, Red.
Right.
Everybody don't have to believe the same.
Right.
Man, I mean, if if we did, then it would be a cult.
And how boring would the world be anyway?
Man, look,
You know what I'm saying?
it would be oppressive if
It'll be
all of us, yeah, if all
yeah.
of us were forced to believe and act the same way. In the
Exactly.
Nation of Islam, we talk about one of our scientists who 64 trillion years ago wanted everyone to speak the same dialect. And he was so upset that he placed high explosives in the earth and
Right.
blew
That
a part of the earth away.
that blew the moon up where the moon is at now.
Right. So, okay, so you can either believe the story, but also you can also believe how we disconnect from our family by wanting everybody to be the same.
Right.
And if you can't do like I do and believe like I do, then we ostracize Red. All right,
Right.
we blowing him from where we are. We blowing knowledge born. We're blowing everybody away. So here we are on our own island, just us and all the sucker sycophant people that wanna that claim they think like us.
Right.
So I disabused myself of that type of thinking in the early 90s. And I stopped participating in that type of debate,
Right.
that type of foolishness,
Yeah, I would
So,
see that. I would see that a lot, man. Even
yeah,
like it's no, especially I would see it that, and not even like with other Islamic, sectors. It might be anything. I seen it a lot with the Christians. I saw it a lot with at
yeah,
that time. At that time, Brother Malachi was heavy with the Nuwabian nation.
yep, yep,
It was always some type of debate. And in actuality, we were all there's again. I'm a dude. I like cliches. I like different things, and it makes me think of another proverb that says there are many ways to the mountaintop, but the view is just the same. And that's a Chinese proverb. And the thing is there are many ways to get to this point that we're trying to get
right,
there. But once we get there, once we look, the view is the same. I just
yep,
because I didn't go around that side of the mountain to get to the top, and I went this side doesn't mean that we're not going to get to the same destination at some time or another with proper preparation and determination. So it's
right,
like it's not on me to knock you. This is just my path, and your path is your path. You know what I'm saying? Unless your
hmm
path is one that's destroying in this process or is being destructive, then that's something that I may have to vie against.
hmm
But could be but I don't get into all that, man. Whatever's for you is for you, and that took a growth in itself because I was young,
yeah,
and I was at one time feeling like you know Christianity was, I was. It's one time I didn't even own a Bible.
Hmm.
I didn't even own a Bible around me,
Hmm.
brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's white man's book. But then I started actually learning more and more and more about the origin and all the other stuff. Realized that all this is ours. All of this is ours,
All of it.
and some way it's been twisted and contorted,
That's
and
right.
and right to make kind of to use to actually control and subjugate our psychological thinking and our mindsets. So it's just a matter of unlearning that and figuring it out. So now I subscribe to it all. When people say, "Are you Muslim?" Yeah. Are you Christianity? Yeah. I'm also a Jewish. I'm also a Buddhist. I'm also all of things, because all those things fall under the true the I would say the pantheon of who we
Hmm.
are. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's us. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, and I also wanted to add that for those of us that debated at that time, also we were being tested to really see if we were about this path.
Mm,
So,
mm,
also some of that was God's way of saying, okay, you want to be in the NOI? Okay, can you take rejection?
mm.
Um, can you take disappointment? Can you take everybody not feeling you? Are you a personality worshiper that only want to be a Muslim during Savior's Day or at a Minister Farrakhan speech?
Right,
You know, because just because I say I want this, don't mean that everybody got to feel it.
right,
So,
exactly.
I may have had the right type of resistance to strengthen me, on this path, and I may have done the same thing with others to strengthen them. Who are you to say you believe and not be tried?
That's right,
I'm expecting people to still pull up today. Go
right,
ahead.
right.
I wouldn't be surprised. I might handle you different, but I'm not surprised if someone want to say, well, Brother Washington, I just don't think that Minister Farrakhan is. Look, bro, you know what? You got to make the best decision of what's for you. You know, I made the best decision that was
That was for
for
you.
for
Exactly.
me, and I can't put my glasses on red and expect red to see clearly. He needs to have his own spiritual
Right,
prescription that
right,
he sees the world. And just as when you go to the optometrist, they'll flip one of the switches and they'll ask you about your how you can see, and they may say you can see, you may be able to see fine, but then he'll give another he'll click another lens that will even be better. So some of us that may have come into the church, God finds a way to click in a few lenses. Okay, now I can see it clear. I may come into the Nation of Islam and something may click and I see the world even clearer. So it's up to that person to recognize their own spiritual prescription and how they see the world, how they perceive reality, and they should be free to either accept or reject. It sounds like something is in the background where you are.
Yeah, it is. I'm straightening something out while we speak. I forgot honestly. I had started a fire before me and you started because it's so cold, and I forgot about the fire. And I'm trying to get. Well, I heard the wood popping, and trying to get it to where it's okay. But I'm straight now. It was popping, and I
Okay,
didn't want to get past the
okay,
screen.
all right, okay, all right, yeah. Hey,
Sorry about
hey,
that.
hey, we said that we was gonna make it hot in here, and
Hey,
that's proof. All right,
hey,
yes, sir.
I was smelling something like, what's that smell? I said, oh shoot, I started a fire early. I didn't even realize
Yes,
I
sir.
started a fire. But yeah, that's true, brother. I totally feel you, man. And
Mhm.
but it's for me. It's been such a beautiful journey, man. Such a journey that has been just awakening because I've had the opportunity of delving off into other frames of thought, other schools of thought,
Mhm.
uh, and it has all been to I always get homage and I give, you know, just praise to the NOI for opening it up for me. You opening that up for me. Like I'm not active in the sense of, how I once was in the nation because I'm into other things. But I always give that credence and props because if not for that, I wouldn't have became the person I am today, because it really opened my eyes and it created that thirst for more, that thirst for knowledge, that thirst for understanding, wisdom, those things. And then
Right.
it opened that door for me. So everybody has their path. So for me, it opened that door for me, and I just kind of start stepping through all kind of doors and searching for, that God particle. I always had this. I always looked up at the sky a lot. I was kind of like the only child for a minute, so I always, me and God, me and that God. I always had questions and
Mm-hmm.
curiosities, and like, why is this? Why is that? And I never could understand the concept of church when they tell you, don't question God. Well, I don't know if I want to praise a God I can't question. Like, why can
Mm-hmm.
I question God? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that about? If he's God, he's not going to be offended at all. Matter of fact, to feel offended is a human characteristic. God ain't no. I mean, you trying to say God is that trite and so human that he feels offended? He gets jealous over certain things. Like, that's more of a human characteristic. If I'm thinking of God or this concept of divine intelligence, it's way beyond our human emotions. You know what I'm saying? Man gets
Mm-hmm.
offended and jealous. This thing that we praise or cause God has no dealings with anything like that. There's nothing to be jealous against or jealous with. It is,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, how can we even say these things we say? So that just, I just always thought along those lines and stuff like that. But interesting, man, interesting. Let me
Mm-hmm.
actually have. Did you meet your wife in the Nation of Islam as
Oh,
well?
oh, yeah. That's an awesome. That's a really nice. That's a good story right there. Yeah, yeah. I had uh, I I I joined the Nation of Islam in April of 1991.
Okay.
My wife was the MGT captain
Uh
at
oh.
that point,
Uh
and
oh.
she still is. And um, look, I I didn't even have my ex yet, and it was something about Sister Yvette, man. It was something about her. And one day we were cleaning up, after the mosque, all the brothers were staying clean up, and our brother captain was joking with her, asking her if she was going to be married, if she's going to get married. And I yelled out from the back room, I said, yeah, and it better be me. And everybody like, oh man, because I hadn't even looked, bro. I didn't even have an ex. I hadn't even registered. I was just a few steps above a visitor. All right.
Right.
And in the nation, for those that are listening, in the Nation of Islam, we have a courting process,
Mm-hmm.
and you just don't get what a sister, or they just don't get with a brother. Not that I'm saying that it don't happen, but that's not our way. That we just partner up
Indeed.
in boyfriend
Indeed.
and girlfriend up.
Indeed.
Like I said, not that it don't happen, but that's not our way. All right. And I asked the brother captain if I could have permission, to speak to her, to call her. And he said, I'll ask her. He asked her, and she was like, no. And he
Wow.
came back to, I'm like, okay, all right, all right, okay, all right. So I waited maybe a few more weeks. I'm selling papers, Brother Red. I'm at the meetings because look,
Oh.
I didn't have a good job then, so whatever I was giving in charity, at least I wanted it to be seen. Hey, I gave $2. Hey, sis, I gave $2 last week. I'm balling. Man, and I asked the brother captain to ask her two more times, and she was shutting it down. Man, look, I didn't have a car. I was just a new FOI, full of full of fury, full of tenacity, full of faith, man. Man. And I think the fourth time she said, yeah, he could call, but tell him not to expect nothing. I'm like, cool, bet. All right. And that's when we had pay phones. We didn't have cell
Right. I
phones
remember
in
that.
1991.
I remember that.
And I remember having to call her from a pay phone because if somebody was on the phone at your house, you lost.
You lost. Yeah.
You lost. So I remember talking to her outside on the payphone in the rain. Man, I was shooting my shot, Red. If look, every,
You was shooting them threes every day. Free throws,
look,
threes.
oh look, every look, man, and hey, she agreed to court, and man, I didn't look back because um, I wanted to marry her. I love that she was about the resurrection of our people.
Right.
I love the fact that she loved this way of life, and she wasn't on no silly stuff. And even though I was new, I wanted to be with someone that strong, man. I wanted to be with someone that strong. And we got married the same year. We got married in November of 1991 and been married ever since, you know.
Awesome.
Been
Awesome.
married ever since. So I know that
That's
that
awesome.
yeah, that may not be everybody's story. And we haven't been married because I've been the perfect person either. All right. It was only through God's divine will that a person like me will be able to do something like this. So it wasn't. So I'm not about to write no Steve Harvey book on how to stay married. All right,
Right.
or no craziness like that. It takes two people, man, and you got to take plenty if you want to be in a relationship. And it'd be best that both of you know what you're getting into, and it'd be best if both of you have something more than just each other. If I'm counting on her to make me happy, I'm done. All right. I
Hmm.
need to be able to know myself and know how to keep myself happy. And if she counting on me to make her happy, we should have got divorced the next day because I'm not the source of her happiness.
Right.
God is. Cause and effect is what you put in, you get out. Karma is. Always say that cause and effect is one of the best expressions of God.
That's
If
right.
you really want to know what God is, plan something and write down what you plan so you could do it again. That's God, because whatever you plan, you're not going to do it by yourself. So you factor in other people into your plan. And when it's all done, don't say, look what Brother Washington did. Look what God did. And that's that process of planning and executing and involving others that have a particular skill set to get your vision where you want it to be.
Right.
It's not something that's in the sky that we're waiting to come down and do all the work for us. Whatever we think is in the sky, Red, it's in us,
Mm. Talk. Teach.
really.
Teach.
So,
Teach.
so there's no need for me to look up into space thinking that somebody is 100 quintillion miles away that's going to bless me. I'm him. When we say the black man is God, you are. You can do God things on your God level. Somebody else put the sun out there. Somebody else put the moon out there. Somebody else put the stars out there. But you can be your own God of your surroundings. You can have a lot of control of your consequences by what you do and what you expect to get back. If you can't take the consequences, well, damn it, don't do that.
That's right.
All right.
That's
Do
right.
something else. They say Heinz, and this is what I learned. All I'm saying is what I learned in the Nation of Islam, in practical application and observation and participation.
Gotcha.
Um, if it's in our planning, and once you realize that you can plan stuff too, that you can execute stuff too, and then feel good about what you planned and what came into fruition, it gives that person even more confidence to plan things. Whereas before we were taught that the mystery God was going to come and do it all for you, and just by happenstance, a broke clock is right twice a day, but that don't mean that God did it. You just happen to not die that day, and you're going to give all thanks to God because you didn't die that day, but you didn't do anything, you know? So we've been taught to do something for yourself and not expect others to do for you what you won't do for yourself, you
That's
know?
real. That's real.
Yeah, yeah. And,
Very
and
real. That's very
yeah,
real.
and that's a bitter pill for some to follow because some of us are still into what I call poverty pimping. That's when we still want to blame the institution of white supremacy. and white people, you know what? The reality, they had a great hand in our demise. However, they are in no position to fix it. All right. It's like, I don't know what type of car you drive, Red, but if I hit your car today and I had no insurance and no job, hey, all I can say is, I'm sorry, bro, but you're going to have to fix your own car.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
and we're at a point now where
Figure it out.
we're gonna have to figure it out because
Yeah. Yeah.
they're not gonna do it. I believe in reparations. All right,
You know,
I
you know,
really
you believe in reparations?
I believe in reparations. However, if they don't give it to us, we give it to us.
Right.
We spend almost over $1 trillion a year. Over $1 trillion. We're a nation within a nation. Yeah, America got a debt to pay. Absolutely, some of the African nations that sold us have a debt to pay. Yes, some of those in the Arab world going to get a knock on the door. Everybody had a hand in this. All right, everybody. So there's a lot of people that's going to get a call or get a knock on the door. However, in the final analysis, it's going to be us that's going to be the chief in charge of fixing us. I may be just one of the debt collectors, all right? But all right, but we're gonna fix ourselves, but they got a price to pay.
I
All
got
right?
you, brother. I feel you.
Yep.
I feel you on that. And it's interesting you brought up reparations because I kind of got mixed feelings about it. To be truthful with you, in the beginning, I was like, "Yeah, we deserve
Mm-hmm.
our reparations. We should get reparations."
Okay.
But
Yes, sir.
you said something that actually gives birth to my mixed feeling, and that is we're a nation within a nation, which you just said, and also that the amount of money we spend annually in this country, we in the trillions. So
Right.
my thing is, for people to spend that amount of money and really none of that money, really, I ain't gonna say none of it, but the majority of that money goes outside of their community and doesn't really go to them. To give them people money in the form of reparations, they're going to give you that money back anyway, because
Right.
that's what they do with anything. That's hence if
Right.
they get a stimulus check, they give you that money back in the form of some stupid commodity clothes that don't hold no investment, or they're gonna buy a car that don't hold. As soon as you drive it off, the worth is already gone. It's like we
Yeah.
get these things back. It
Yeah.
seems like
Yeah. Okay. I
it
got you.
seems like it seems like
I got you.
the real reparations needs to be psychological reparations.
Right.
It needs to be a reparations to where instead of me now don't get me wrong, I feel like some monetary retribution definitely is needed, but the biggest retribution, the biggest to me reparations needs to be one of psychological
Right.
mindset and teaching. Go ahead.
When we talk about reparations, the money in this fiat currency can't be the only
Right,
indicator.
right,
All right.
right,
Now,
exactly.
if that was the case, they give it to us overnight and then devalue it. All right, now we left with nothing.
Right,
But no, the economic the check or the bag, that's a small portion of the repair that needs to happen.
that's right.
All right, and we're talking about some emotional. We're talking about some mental reparations, some to repair the trauma, to to repair our lineage being just broken and destroyed.
Right.
Money may be the smallest part of this, and I look at that fiat fake currency as the smallest part.
Uh-huh.
On the back of the final call, where we talk about what we want, um, it's about land.
Right.
You know, it's about land, and America owes. However, it's almost like, yeah, we're going to have to do it ourselves, but you're not going to. We don't have the. I don't have the right to relieve them of that debt. Yeah. I ran into your car. Okay, you had to fix it, but I still owe. Never. We're not going to forgive the debt that they owe. We'll do it ourselves, but best believe they know they got a debt to pay,
That's
and we're
right.
not and
I agree with that.
we're not gonna wait for them to repair us. We're not gonna wait for Biden to say it's okay to we be black because he said if we don't vote for him, we ain't black. You
Right.
know, we're not waiting for none of the politicians. We're not waiting for none of the preachers. No, they don't have the say so or the skill set to repair what's been done. The Spirit of God is going to come on us and force us to do what we need to do for ourselves. We're already seeing it through the last couple of years of being shot down in the streets by the police.
Hmm.
And those who are around are filming it. Ain't nobody jumping in. We're
Right.
seeing how we're killing ourselves. All right. So we're being forced to do something for ourselves. We're seeing that our schools are closed, and if you don't get a vaccine, you can't go to school.
Right.
If you don't get a vaccine, you can't work here. Or hell, maybe we need our own businesses. Maybe we need our own schools. Maybe we need to do something for ourselves. So the winds of change is forcing us to repair our. I was gonna say repair our damn self. I don't want to say that on the line. Hell, I already said it. But it's forcing us to do all of the stuff that we thought white people were going to do.
Right.
All right. And when that happens, it's not going to happen the way I thought. It's going to happen the way God thinks. Who would have thought last year that all of us would be wearing masks?
That's real.
Who would have thought last year all of us be hunkered down in our homes, not messing with, not trying to be around everybody? This has forced some of us to start looking within.
That's real.
Who would have thought so many pop-up shops and food trucks that black people will be starting to do,
Right.
you know? So no, it's coming. It's not going to come like on TV or some type of black utopia vision type thing. No, but it's coming, but they still owe, even if we fix ourselves if we fix everything, I'm still letting them know. And no, y'all still owe. They'll never be forgiven for what they've done. And any Negro that claims that they're forgiven, that's on him. You don't speak for me. You don't speak for the tens of millions of us that died in the Middle Passage. You don't speak for us for the tens of millions that were hung in chains. No, none of us could just off the rip say, y'all forgiven. Nope, that's for you, but not for me. So that change is going to come, but that monetary portion is going to be so small, all right, that is not even going to make a difference. It's almost like when we were talking about Cuba,
Yeah.
um, taking your independence and being given your independence is two different things.
Two different things.
Some of the nations, the darker nations, were given their independence from France, from Portugal, from Germany, from Spain, from England. At any time that they give you your independence, it can come right around, bust you, and take it back.
And it comes with a price. It comes with a
Of course
sticker.
it does.
It
Of
comes with a
course it does.
sticker.
Because
Off
they
the rip.
gave it to you. If
Right.
they gave it to you, you didn't earn it. So when we get done with this pandemic, when we get done unifying and doing all the things that we had to do to earn this unity, you think we're just going to let somebody just waltz in with a black face and a bald head or whatever, or dreadlocks, and create division?
Yeah,
Oh
that's true.
no, we work too hard for this. You can get
Indeed.
it too. You
Facts.
you be the first. They be the first to go. We're not waiting for that white guy with the blonde buzz cut to infiltrate our organizations and create division. We're not looking. We're looking for some Muhammad's.
Hey
We're
man,
looking for
Yakub created black devils first.
yeah. We're looking for Abduls. See,
Exactly.
Satan always comes dressed like the people that he's trying to deceive.
For sure.
So no, there's some tests in the past that we may have failed. All right, because we miscalculated Satan's drive to discredit, to divide. We 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 didn't even couldn't even fathom the depths that he would go. So a lot of us failed those tests in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 70s. We had no idea what we were up against.
That's
Our
right.
latest, yeah, our latest final call paper talks about the stooges and I mean the stool pigeons and the sellouts and the
Mm,
ops. All right. And they sending them to us. And some of us, you can recognize Satan by the language of division. All right. Anytime somebody comes and tells me, no, man, I wouldn't F with red, okay, I know that right there. That's an op. All right. That would that would tell me not to get down with you. I would have to bring you up and say, hey, Red, Abdul, tell Red what you told me.
right. Right.
See, that's how you get for anybody that's listening.
That's how
That's
you.
the move now. No time for these secret councils where I'm meeting with these brothers talking about Red, but when Red come around, we friends.
We friends.
See, that's what tore down the Black Panthers. That's what tore down the Nation of Islam. That's what tore down SNCC. That's what tore down CORE. That tore down a lot of the Universal Negro Improvement Association,
Mm,
United Slaves, all of that. And they used that division. They used our ignorance, they used our fear, and they sent black people in
right.
to do that.
Right.
They're
All the
still,
time. All the time.
hey, they still do it today, but I bet he get 5 bundles of final calls and don't come back to the papers. All right, yeah, come
they,
on,
they
don't
do.
come
They
back.
do.
I'm telling you,
They do.
we,
They do.
we will. I'm telling you, I've seen it.
Yeah.
We
They.
will work you. We will work you to death. All right, you'll leave out the nation thinking Allah is the greatest, and I don't have nothing else to report. All right, so now send them.
Well,
All
I'm
right.
glad. I'm glad you said that, man. And it's interesting enough. Something that you and I spoke about on the phone yesterday was, it's like every so often they come out with some type of movie or some type of documentary that because now all of a sudden Hollywood is Malcolm X's friend. They want to make a movie about Malcolm all the time now, and when they make it a point, whether it's a black director or black whoever producer, they make it a point to 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 put scenes in there that show the division between him and the minister, him
Uh-huh.
and his teacher, the honorable. And that I find that so to me, it creates such a dichotomy, and at the same time, it's just like really like for real. It's like, do we need more divisive, rhetoric out there? I mean, first of all, the way people looked up to Malcolm for so many years. Matter of fact, the way the Caucasoid didn't even want us to even identify ourselves for being somewhere by Malcolm X, but now all of a sudden he
You giving him
subscribed to
to
it.
us.
And now you feeding him
Come
to
on,
us.
man.
Now
Look,
you feeding them to us,
look, it's like that. It's like the COVID-19 vaccine. For so many years, Black America has been put on the back burner of the health institution. All right. Anytime they put us at the front of the line, come on, you black. How all of a sudden our 400-year-old enemy want to place us at the front of the line
for sure.
with some, with something that's said experimental?
Right,
All right. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but come on, you black. We've seen we've seen this before. So anytime we see a movie that come out, why don't they make movies about Dr. Martin Luther King and Rap Abernathy,
right,
like they was Tupac and Biggie? Why don't they make movies about Stokely Carmichael? Why did he really change his name to Kwame Ture so that we could have beef with old Stokely and new Stokely? Why don't they make movies about Prophet Noble Drew Ali?
right,
Why did he have a 7 in his Quran? I told you he wasn't a real Muslim or Muslim. Why don't they make movies about Marcus Garvey and say that whoever uh, uh, whoever was going to take over the United Negroes Improvement Association after him was a kinder and gentler person. Why
Right.
don't they make movies about Jesse Jackson? Why is it always the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that they're targeting? There weren't any movies about Malcolm in the late 60s. There weren't
That's
no
true.
movies about Malcolm in the 70s.
That's true.
Y'all wasn't feeling him in the 80s. It wasn't until the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, like, look, man, we're going to do this again and we're going to do it right. We know all of their tricks because they played their tricks on us in the 60s and 70s and got us off track. Now we're going to take the examination again and
Mm-hmm.
see if we fall victim to personality worship, to see
Mm-hmm.
if we fall victim to gossip and slander, to see if we fall victim to yes men and suck ups and sycophants. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to do this again. See, we got the number now. So they could put out all type of Malcolm X movies. And each Malcolm X movie, they make him look weaker and weaker. They make the brothers around him look weaker and more
True. That's
odd
true.
and
That's
more
true.
odd. I'm like, damn, y'all gonna have Tom Cruise playing him
I
next,
won't be surprised.
and Matthew McConaughey being the supreme captain.
Yeah, I won't be surprised.
You know, so
It's
look,
incredible.
but I'm telling you this, brother. Even though you can have Spike making a movie, you can have Regina directing a movie. That's the blackface that they put on their agenda.
Right.
But when you see after, and I tell people this, after a movie is done, watch the credits. You get a chance to see who was really involved. After the movie, watch who was the executive directors. These are the people that put up the most money first. I mean, the executive producers.
Producers. Yeah.
These are the people that put up the money, the most money first. So when this movie go to DVD, when it starts streaming or go international, they getting their cut first.
First.
Look into who's the producers. They didn't put in as much as the executive producers, but they still put in a nice cut. All they need is a black face to put on that director and say it's a black film. But in reality, it was focus group and financed by those that hate us.
Right.
And people starting to see that. So come on, man. Look, bro, come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And
Yeah.
speaking of which, you brought up something interesting. That recent movie with that Regina King did with something about in Miami, that one night in Miami, where you seen that? With
Yeah, I
that
saw that.
that to me, I'm sorry. I really
Hey.
I didn't enjoy it, man.
No.
I didn't like how they played. I didn't like. I mean, they honestly, it really kind of like played Malcolm down on some real like, like doing some softness. Like they made the brother look like he just kind of. They made Jim Brown look like he just was everything, and he probably because he was the one that's really the white woman lover, so they got to make him look strong. Then they, even Muhammad, it was like he kind of was in the middle. And it's like, and then Sam. Yeah, I was like, who wrote this? What's going on with this movie?
Hey, you look, you don't even have to ask who wrote it. You don't
I
even
was
have
like,
to
what's going
ask.
on here, man?
Look, even a movie has also an editor.
Right,
They're gonna decide what's kept. If all the silly Negro stuff they're gonna keep.
right,
Anything that shown some light, no, that stays on the director's floor. So yeah, shout out to Regina, love you, sis. However, I know that part of the director is just a small part. All right. It's all about the executive producers and the producers and who's in charge of distribution.
right.
All
That's the
right.
biggest part.
So don't right. So I'm not gonna look at that's like me looking at a rapper and thinking that rapper is the downfall of the black community.
For sure.
Well, hell, that rapper they got a producer. There's someone that's distributing this. There's someone that's editing it and mixing it down. There's somebody that deciding what tracks go on an album or CD this time. You don't know how many tracks Kodak made. You don't know how many tracks Young Thug made. You don't know how many tracks this person made. But they don't control what go on the CD or what go on the LP.
A lot of times as an artist, because being an artist and being on labels, you submit your project and they decide yay or nay if they gonna get behind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you have to portray whatever energy the CD has.
Exactly.
So if it's all dope Dylan and trap music,
That's the brand. That's
then
the energy. That's what
that,
you portraying. That's
that's
how
what
you
you're going to
market. That's how they
portray.
marketing you.
Right, right. So and the same with film. The same with with movies. Yes, they have black actors. Hell, I want to eat too. So if I was acting, I'm acting. I ain't trying to start a movement. I'm
Right.
trying to work. So if you can work, get work. However, there's something else that's going on too, especially at this stage of evolution of people's mind, and that doesn't mean that everybody becomes members of the Nation of Islam. That's not the goal, because when the sun hits the earth, you see things grow differently.
Right.
Everything doesn't look like grass. Everything don't look like corn.
Right.
Everything don't look like wheat.
Right.
Everything grows the way it's supposed to. When
Right.
when when truth hits it, I might start it off as Christian. I may be Muslim today, but I'm not done yet.
Right.
It's
Right.
not a wrap for me.
Yeah, that's
You
real.
know,
That's
it's
real.
not. It's not, and nobody can control how I grow. Some knew me as Washington McGee. Some knew me as Washington X. If you like Washington McGee, you probably wasn't feeling Washington X. All right, all right,
That's
and
real. That's
and
real.
you might have been comfortable Washington X until I put the Muhammad on there. Now you feeling some type of way for real.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
for real. His,
right,
his mama named him McGee. I'm gonna call him
right, right. Well,
McGee.
all right, hey, okay, or whatever.
All right,
I ain't gonna
man.
like, and I don't fight
Yeah.
nobody for saying Mr. McGee or whatever. All I'm proud of is that my sons have a real name. My
Mm,
sons have their own name, and their children will have their name.
they're on there. All
Right, right. Until we have a girl, and she messed it all up.
right.
Oh hell, I'm probably gonna get canceled for that, but that's all right. I've been kicked out of better places, but yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the whole goal. It's the goal is allowing people to grow. How they grow, and also I'm involved in the art and culture community
Okay.
in Toledo, and I love art. I've been a part of art theater, for quite some time, and expression matters a lot. And allowing people to express themselves regarding their faith, allowing people to express themselves artistically and culturally, is important. And that's one of the I think that's one of the tenets that also helps me a lot regarding social justice,
Uh-huh.
that recognizing that people are going to express themselves differently. They may not express themselves as I would as a member of the Nation of Islam, but however they express themselves, that's on them. If they can handle the fallout for how they express themselves, fine. I'm with that. You
Gotcha.
know, you know.
I'm with you, man. I'm with man. I'm enjoying this conversation, man. You feel like a not only a Baba, but like a older brother, a mentor, man. I'm enjoying you, man. It's a pleasure just resonating and kind of matching frequencies with someone like yourself, man. I
Yes, sir.
really appreciate this conversation. But I was up a little bit. Like I say, man. We gonna have to connect again, man. What I think I'm gonna do is and I've never done it with guests, but I want to bring you on again, man. And also, you and I, we've exchanged numbers. I'm gonna talk to you outside of this, man. Just kind of build with you and vibe with you, man. Grow. I would love to grow a relationship with you, man. I feel like I need great men like you in my immediate circle to help me actually continue to grow in this, as well. Like you just said something that was really poignant to me when you said, truth shines down in the form of the sun rays, but things grow in different ways. You know, once the light shines, it's all kind of things growing up under that. But
That's right.
they all need that source of light, which is that source of truth. And I feel like, you know, as an individual and as young men, and even as intermediate older men, and then for elders, we all need to be each other's sunlight and shine our truth on each other in order for us to properly grow. So I definitely want to actually, you know, receive you and look to you as, you know, being such a light in my life. Definitely that, my brother. It's a pleasure.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but with that, so I'm gonna conclude it, man, because like I say, it's been a long day. I came straight from work to get on this podcast with you, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of decompress and take in everything that we've actually spoken about, and I enjoyed you as ever, man. And so before we go, let the people know how they can get in contact with you. Give them some of your, you know, your social media sites if you have any, or whatever contacts. Let them know what you're about, and I'm pretty sure some of our viewers and our listeners will be very interested in actually reaching out to you and connecting with you.
All right. You can reach me on Facebook, Washington Muhammad, Instagram, Washington Muhammad, just like you see on the screen there. On Twitter, Washington Muhammad. Follow me. That would mean that I would have 2 followers then. All right.
Oh
So
man.
hey, you know,
I'm gonna
I
follow you so
need.
you have three. You
All
got
right, good. That'll work.
all right,
That'll
sounds
work.
good.
So just
Sounds
follow
good.
follow me on right. Follow me on social media, and for everybody, you know, continue growing in the way that you feel comfortable about yourself. Practice some self care. Find you some quiet space to really think about what you're grateful for, and then go out and get it, man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, let me make sure. Do you still and I know this probably been a while, but do you still rap?
Oh, absolutely,
You do?
absolutely. Every
That's what
once
I
in
wanted to hear because I got
no,
an
I can.
idea.
All right. Well, let's talk off.
Yeah, we're
Let's
gonna talk
talk
offline.
off this.
I got
I
an
don't want
idea,
to.
but I'm glad you said that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I dust this mic off, man. Don't.
Oh,
Hey,
that's what I'm talking about.
hey. It's if it's on, it's on. All right.
All right,
Yes,
sounds
sir.
good. Sounds good. Well, look, man, it's a pleasure speaking with you, my brother. Always, man. Thank you for blessing us with your presence, with your light, with your energy, and also with your truth, man. And Assalamu alaikum to you. And I appreciate you so much, man. And for all those out there viewing, you already know where to find me. I'm at redfidel.com. Also at Instagram at redfidel, Facebook red.fidel. And that new album is still out, 555. Get that new album. It's out. It's banging. You can find it on all your major streaming platforms as well as at redfidel.bandcamp.com, where you could download and purchase your copy today, not tomorrow, but today. Anyway, man, that concludes our segment, our hour, and look forward to seeing and getting with you people next week and next Tuesday with another guest. But tonight, we definitely want to honor and bless the guest that we had tonight, Brother Washington Muhammad. Salam alaikum, my brother.
Walaikum salam.
Peace and blessings.